Stop right there. Yeah, you. If you like all things entertainment, current events, or Hollywood, then look no further. Creator to Creators, hosted by director Meosha of Horror Noir, interviews filmmakers and creatives from around the world. Join in on the fun, guest celebrities, and informative information to have as a creator. Hit subscribe and stay connected to Creator to Creators.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another episode of Creators to Creators today. Today, we have a special guest.
Shanti Chapman.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So I always love to start with, the beginning with every guest that I talk to, because I just find it fascinating, the things that we do when we're like children and kids, like the habits that we pick up that kind of sticks with us and or also is like shows our trajectory of where we're kind of going in life when we get older. So tell me a bit about your childhood and like what was that growing up like, and then like how did you find your way into, music?
It's actually a very interesting story. So, my childhood was good until about 10. That's
Mm.
when my parents divorced. But my when I was a young child, my dad, he loved to play guitar and sing, and that would be like our family time. And so music was instilled into me early from that. But as far as really discovering my passion for music, it was actually when I was at my lowest point, around the age of 15, where I was I pretty much I spun out of control, from like 11 to 15, just doing all the wrong things,
Mm.
getting into trouble, just yeah, you know, uh, typical troubled teenager. And
Mhm.
I got to the point where I just was like, um, God, if you exist, show me. And that's when I started my faith journey, and I discovered gospel music. And that's what really touched me. Gospel music really just, um, it transformed me, and just really put me on a different trajectory and gave me purpose and focus. And so that's when my journey started to want to also create music that has a positive impact, on people.
I love that. I love what gospel music, if I may ask. What
What
artists?
specifically?
Yeah, if that just kind of got you there, like that changed your life.
Well, I mean, back then, I was listening to BB and CC
Oh yeah,
Winans,
that's a good one. Yeah,
Pink
they're great.
Sick, the Clark sisters, Fred Hammond. Um, yeah, so all the oldies but goodies.
Right. Exactly. Oh
So
yeah, I
that
used to
just
love
really,
BB.
yeah, just that just really put me on a different trajectory in life. And um, through all the brokenness of divorce, it just that was my anchor, my faith, and listening to gospel music. So that just, yeah, it kind of defined me, um, into who I wanted to be and who I felt, that God would have me be. Yeah.
So I'm that's awesome, and I love that. I'm a PK kid. A lot of people probably don't. I say it here and there on the podcast sometimes, but growing up a PK kid was different because I didn't go down that path of church. But I am my foundation is Christianity and my faith is in God. My belief system is, but it was very different when I was like, when I told them, I was like, I want to be a filmmaker. They're like, okay. I think they
Yeah,
had
well,
like
that's great.
a different path for
Yeah,
me in their mind, but I was like,
yeah,
I can still reach people in just a different way.
exactly. Well, you have to explain what PK means because some people might not know
Oh,
what that is.
preacher's kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was definitely the yeah, growing up, it was a thing, every morning before leaving, to go to school, or we'd pray. And yeah, that was definitely a big part of my uh, foundation. Um, Question: when you said that, gospel, and you asked, okay, God, if you're real, um, I'm curious, like, what happened, what changed for you, like the things that inside of you, and like how did you, if you don't mind sharing that, you know
Oh, sure.
how did God reveal himself to you?
Um, it's not something that can be described, but felt.
I see.
It was just, not to sound too spiritual, but it was just, yeah, just the presence of God was just so real through the music. So God met me there. He spoke to me through the music, and it was almost like God was in the room with me. It was just so amazing, and I was to the point where I was really seeking and looking for answers and trying to find stability. And yeah, I mean, if you pray to God, and like, if you could be an atheist, or not know if God exists, but if you pray, God, show me, he'll do just that. And that's what he did. That's what he did with me. I didn't go to church younger, so I wasn't a PK. But yeah, just so for me, it was a real transformation. Um yeah, I'm just
I love that. I think that's great. And I think everyone has I always find it fascinating because I think everyone has you know, God reveals himself differently to everyone. And
right.
um, yeah, I just find that very fascinating. So let's talk about your music. Let's talk about Joy Comes. Now, I always like to ask, before I get into the process of making that song, um, like, what, prompt you to say, okay, this is going to be the title. This is what I want to talk about, or, this is what I want the song to be about.
So actually, I was just sitting at the piano and just playing some progressions, and I really was just inspired. I try to everything I do, I try to feel it and get inspiration, and I just had the inspiration, so I must have played the right chords, and then it just came to me, and then um, I started to get pieces of the chorus, um, and then over time it developed into what it is.
Nice. Piano. Nice.
Yeah,
Was
yeah.
this self-taught lessons, or did you
A
like
little
go
bit
to?
of both. I actually I had like somebody teach me gospel piano um when I was younger, and also like played in like choirs and stuff, local choirs.
Neat.
But I also studied jazz.
Nice.
Um so I did that early on. I don't know how old I was, maybe 17 or so, studied jazz, and then I went on to actually study jazz piano um, in college.
Nice.
And yeah, I spent a lot of time in college. I went and studied piano and voice at Berklee College of Music. Um,
Wow.
and
Amazing.
then got my master's degree in jazz piano from Marshall University, which is Huntington, West Virginia. So,
Nice.
and also played piano in the Army for, well, 3 years in the National Guard as an Army musician piano player, and then 7 years in the Army as a musician, as a piano player. Yeah, so it was great
That's so
experience.
cool. That is so
Yeah.
cool. I love that. That is so neat. And I have a brother who's also in the army, and thank you so much for your service and everything that you've done. Um, I find it like what I'm just really curious of like what was the biggest takeaway from being in the army that or like something I guess lesson or like what was your biggest takeaway of like in being in
Um,
it? Yeah,
for me, I mean, because we were soldiers like everybody else. We had to go to basic training. We had
yeah.
to, we had to shoot every year, qualify is what they called it. Um, we had to stay physically fit. Um, so what I learned from the military was discipline, resilience, basically the will to never give up, attention to detail. Um, so yeah, it was probably one of the best decisions that I made, and it was great for my family. And I also, yeah, I just believe that was just part of God's plan for me. And I think just as far as because not only am I an artist, but I'm also operating my own label, so it takes a
Nice.
lot of discipline. Yeah, a lot of discipline, hard work, and problem solving. Yeah, there's a lot just to try to make stuff happen. So yeah, the military experience definitely um, has kept me sharp.
Oh yeah, I can. I bet. I mean, I bet like that was that skill set that you know, take, like you said, discipline and take away from actually also, and you said attention to detail, and I can see that and hear that in your music. Like it's very professional. It sounds great. And I can tell that it's a great production. So, and the fact that you just said having your own label is that is tough, and I totally understand the feeling of doing it yourself kind of thing. um what made you want to go down that path of like, yeah, I want to create my own label?
Um, actually, just a series of events. Back in 90 99, I was a intern at EMI Gospel,
Mhm.
a gospel label. They were actually a pretty new label at the time. They were under EMI Christian Music Group in Nashville. Um, so yeah, I was able to see the inner workings of a, a startup label, although they did have money
Mm.
that I don't necessarily have, but God is still providing. But I was able to see all the inner workings of uh, radio tracking and putting together press releases and putting together showcases and A&R, all of that. I was able to see all of that, and it's kind of funny because like after that experience, I just was like, oh, like everything is um everything is coming into place, and this is what I should be doing, and I need to be in Nashville. And um I just I just thought that I pretty much arrived at at my destiny. But there were a whole lot of other things that I had to experience to be to the place where I'm at now, where yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. And although I'm a lot older, I kind of understand why it's taken so long. Um, you know, just the mindset that I have now, I have a desire to reach back and really just mentor and encourage younger artists to provide, music that's really going to change people's lives.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's a good time for me. Plus, my day job, I'm a social worker,
Nice.
so I work with the homeless population during the day. So 11 months ago, basically, I found my second passion, which is working in my community and trying to fix complex problems in the community. Um, so I'm kind of tying those two things together. So I like to talk about, the problem whenever I'm doing an interview or press release or anything like that, because there's a lot of things that are broken.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
So I have the mindset now to really make a difference. Um, not only just as far as inspirational, but to see social change.
Mm.
So I think now is the perfect time.
Oh yeah. Oh my yes. And thank you for doing that. I think that's very important. That's definitely one thing. I mean, it's everywhere, honestly, the problem. But I feel like when I first moved to Los Angeles, I didn't really realize like I knew there was homeless people, but it didn't hit me until after COVID of like how bad the problem is. And
It's really bad.
yeah,
And
it's,
I was like everybody else, like before I worked with the homeless, like as my job,
yeah.
like you don't like, yeah, you see somebody panhandling
Mhm.
and you make a decision, okay, do I give them something or I don't? And then you have your own biases that you're dealing with. And um, you just really don't know till you actually have a conversation and till you actually get to know the community. And to be honest, most of the homeless community, which I call them my friends or like my family, most of them aren't the ones that are actually panhandling.
Mm,
So like that, but that's the perception that we have. Um, I have one person. I know of one person, female. She's working three jobs, and they're
wow.
side jobs here and there, and she makes a little bit here and there, but she's actually, they're actually really resilient, and I would compare them. They also have the mindset of a soldier because they're under the absolute worst conditions. They're still surviving. Um, and somebody said something that really impacted me. And this person said that, you know, somebody that we consider to be, an outcast to society, let's just say a drug dealer. Well,
Mhm.
that drug dealer is an entrepreneur. That drug dealer can take those same skills and use it for something positive,
Yeah.
um, and be the CEO of a huge company because they've had to survive through poverty and make decisions that aren't necessarily good according to society. But they can take that same energy and use it and like be just a powerhouse like in the business world.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And I don't know how we're gonna fix it because I also think it's definitely the government. Not to go down that path of
Oh, we
it's
could
a
have
whole
an hour
nother
long,
I know.
but I don't know if it's a journal or a book, but I found it online and it's called The Poverty Industry.
Hmm.
But you should see if you can find it and read it. And if you want me to I have a PDF, I can send it to you so you don't have
Oh,
to pay for it.
thank you.
But
Yeah, I'd totally read it. Yeah, thank you.
and there's a video too, and yeah, I mean, is it broken or is it deliberate?
Exactly my point. Yes. Yeah. I mean that the things that I guess the thing and that's the thing with we're in an industry that we get to create and express ourselves through like myself is through film, music, and it's still in the entertainment world. And we have going into it, I was like, oh, I love then you find out there's other problems on top of problems and things that we're fighting for, and you're thinking, how are we gonna, wow, what is this? Is this an agenda? So, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just trying to use our voices, like you said, use our voice and to talk about these things because I mean, we have to definitely talk about it. Like a lot of people, that's one thing I think right now, I mean that we have that the SAG thing that's happening in entertainment, other things like that people are politics that we're standing with, but we're not talking about, like you said, homeless. That's a really huge issue that
It's a huge
it's never
issue.
been
And
addressed.
actually, yeah, I mean, 2 days ago, a client, which I wasn't able to have my first conversation with him yet, but he was going to be my client, passed away of an overdose. And there are,
Sorry.
I could probably count at least maybe 7 or 8, or maybe even 10, within the past 6 months.
Wow. Wow.
And when they pass away, a lot of times they don't have family that will do an obituary, and it's like they never existed because
Wow.
the city government doesn't do obituaries, and then a lot of times it doesn't show up on the news when they pass away.
Exactly. Like they don't, like you said it, they don't exist. They don't exist. It's a really interesting time that we're in. And it's either, so I appreciate that you're doing that work, with the platform that you have. I mean, that's all we can do, right?
Yeah,
So yeah, I appreciate that. And
yeah.
I think like with your music, we need music now that is uplifting and positive because I think globally a lot of people are hurting, you know.
Oh, absolutely. I think that's why I'm getting such a good response.
Hmm.
I think I checked on Spotify yesterday, and it's reaching like 65 countries.
Wow, it's awesome. That's amazing.
You know,
That's awesome. Congratulations.
I mean, not to say the numbers are huge, but it is reaching all those countries. So, in a way, I've accomplished what I set out to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But
Exactly.
actually, I want to do a documentary out in Richmond, Kentucky, which is where I'm at. So I've been actually reaching out to different filmmakers and just trying to just I've been racking my brain just trying to put light on some of the issues. So if there's anybody out there,
Yes, anybody can contact him, get in touch. After listening to this interview, follow all the pages, reach out, because that's what it's about at the end of the day, you know, paying it forward and figuring out how we can, you know, share our stories and spread light to different situations and things that are happening around the world. I started this podcast 3 years ago after like during like at the height of COVID or like right before like it really got bad and like you hearing about it. And then the lockdown happened and I was just like, oh no, what are we gonna do? But it was a really good outlet for me to talk to different people, like creatives around the world and like, what are
oh
you
yeah,
doing?
I'm sure it was good for them too.
Oh yeah, it
Not
was
feel
great
so
for
isolated. Yeah,
I know, right? And we got through
yeah,
that. Yeah. But
yeah. I was actually on a semi truck during a lot of COVID, driving my
really,
own. I had my own truck and trailer and did that for a while, and
wow.
it was good, but it was. I mean, I was gone 3 to 4 weeks at a time away from my family, and
Mhm.
it got to the point where seemed like there was more expenses than there was profit. Um, and I could make $1,000 a day doing that, but if the expenses are so high, then it's not even worth it. So
Exactly.
I
It's
gave it up.
but you're doing great. I mean, you have, like I said, the label and the music that you're doing and the organization that you're part of and things that you're doing. I mean, I find that awesome. I have a question, and there's no wrong answer. But if you could choose, they say the three levels of influence, money, power, or respect. if you could choose one of those things, which one would you choose and why?
I would choose respect. Um, because I'm learning. I'm pretty good as far as talking to people, and even with the homeless population, like I have their respect, and that's the most important thing because they know that I'm going to try to fix some of these complicated issues. Um, and if you have respect, um, and you're a good communicator, you can get those other things just with respect. Be respectful. Um, and somebody else, or even like I believe, if I believe in somebody, like if I believe in you, then I'm going to invest into you and what you're doing even before you consider investing into me,
Mm,
because I believe in you and I believe that that same energy will come back to me. So that's
yeah.
respect.
I like that. It's a great answer. I like that. Um, what makes you, I mean, as far as like creatives, and I know when people, what I think it's really on the outside looking in, when you look at like, the entertainment world as a whole, and you look at all the people that are doing impactful things, on such a global scale, like whether it's they're filmmakers, singers, whatever. I think during that path, I think a lot of people don't, who people outside don't understand that it's definitely a journey to get to whatever destination you're trying to get
Yeah.
to. But in that journey, what keeps you going in tough times, and like just like keeps you motivated?
Um, that's an interesting question, and it's a very spiritual answer. Because actually, maybe 6 months ago, I was to the point because I tried everything, and I know a lot of people in the industry, and like nothing has worked. Um, Even with all the connections that I've had, and although I've said, "Hey, this is what I'm supposed to be doing," nothing has happened. So basically, I was to the point where I accepted that it wasn't going to happen. And, I was very heartbroken over that because all this time I felt like this is what I was supposed to be doing with my life. But although I was at that point, everything was like resurrected.
Mm,
Um, so the strength that I have isn't coming from me, it comes from a place of purpose.
mhm,
And since I know what my purpose is, and I know that it's bigger than me. It's not me. It's the talent that I have is a gift that God has given me, and so that's what fuels me. It's when I can't do it. That's when he gives me the power to do it. It's like
yeah.
when you let go of everything. That's when God gives you His strength to do the things that you're supposed to do with your life. So I don't have the strength to do any of this. It's just who God has created me to be. And that's all I can do is be the authentic me that God has created me to be.
I love that. That's powerful. That's great. And thank you for sharing that. I mean, I think sometimes um, we hear I love listening to interviews of how, people get through their tough times, because I mean, I've had so many. I mean, but I feel like the journey of it all, and the beauty of it all is that the it's not that we're not going to go through things. And you think about, even in, using, you know, I guess you can say Jesus, he went through things, but he was one of the most, he's the most popular person now today, it's like, so it's a journey to get there. But it's definitely worth it in the end. Like you know what you're here for. Like you said, I like what you said, your purpose. And a lot of people don't know what they're
Yeah,
doing. They're just, you know, throwing it out there to
yeah.
see
And
what sticks.
what's funny is when you have a purpose, a lot of people get confused when they're trying to accomplish a goal or be
Mhm.
successful because they'll get right to the edge of um, trying to accomplish that goal, and then all of this stuff starts to happen around you, like all these obstacles, all this resistance. Um, like just me personally, I've had people, you know, um, not really believe like the things that I've been saying, like this is how we're supposed to do it, or this is the vision. And so, I've had people, I've had false accusations, like a string of false accusations from, you know, one organization to the next. And I'm just like, Lord, what in the world
Yeah.
is, what's going on? But I'm to the place now where I realize it's because I'm doing the right thing.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
most people will be like, this can't be my purpose because it's too hard.
Wow. I,
So what do? They back up and they try to go a different direction because there's absolutely no way this could be my purpose. Everybody's turning against me. Nobody believes in me.
hmm. Hmm.
Like I believe in myself, but I don't have a label backing me. I don't, it's me and the vision that I believe God has given me, and that's enough. And somebody said recently, I think it was on TikTok, that it's not the industry's job to believe in you. You have to make them. You have to make them believe in you. It's not their job to believe in you. It's just that you have to get to the point where they're. You have to get to them to the point where they're believers. So you have to be confident and know. You have to know the end before the beginning. So you have to know, okay, what is my purpose in life, and then you have to be confident in that and just walk through the journey.
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely.
David was a king longer before he was actually, you know, before he was actually crowned to be king, and he had all these obstacles. But in due time, it happened.
Yeah, you reap your harvest. And I feel like that's the thing, a lot of people don't want to work for it. And it's because if it was easy, everyone would do it. I always tell people like, being a woman in the business that I'm in, it's very difficult. And a woman of color, it's even worse. But you have to, you know, get up and have, keep going. And you have to believe, like I said, believe in yourself. That's the most important thing is that and it's not something for me, I think that as I get older, I my perception of like what I wanted at the beginning was that I wanted to be accepted, but I don't. I want to create my own foundation. And then like that sustains me. And I'm at that point in my life now
Yeah,
that I don't I can work and, do Hollywood movies, but I can also create my own stuff. And that's the way to go. I mean, I got to Tyler Perry Studios, and this man believed in himself, and he has one of the biggest studios in the world. Like I've been to Warner Brothers, Fox Studios. I got to do a lot of that, but Tyler Perry Studios is just on another level. And I know that
yeah.
you can do it. It's possible. But again, it's
Mhm.
at work. You have to really push. And I don't think it's about age or anything. I think it's like it's never too late. You just have to start it right at the end of the day. And yeah,
Yeah,
see where
well,
it goes.
I'm sure I'm definitely a lot older than you. So, but yeah, it can still happen.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Before we go, where can people find you on social media and to just follow everything you have coming and going on?
Um, Best thing to do is Google me. That's the best way to find me on social media. But yeah, I'm on Twitter, TikTok, LinkedIn, Facebook. Um, yeah, so most of the platforms, threads. But I'm actually I've started on a second song in the studio, so I'm working on that, just working on cranking out some songs that I've had for a while and giving them a relevant sound, and obviously, they have a positive, encouraging message. So I'm excited about that, and I'm just taking it day by day and walking in faith. And yeah, I know
Like
my
that.
purpose, and I'm just going to keep walking.
That's it. Walking in faith. I like that. I like that a lot. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure talking to you and hearing your story. And
Thank you.
yeah, I got to come back in when you have some more stuff going on.
Sure.
All right. All right. And thank you all for listening. And always remember to live, love, laugh. We'll see you guys next time. Bye.
All right, thank you.